Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And before we get this video started, I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are having a good one, spending it with family. I spent it with my family, so I hope you guys all had a good one. I know I haven't dropped a video in a few days. I've been pretty much hibernating and doing a lot of research. And there is still this hot topic that's going around. It's towards the end of the year. T-Mobile versus Verizon. Will they be able to match them in terms of coverage? So we've, we've discussed this plenty times, and I like the feedback and the interaction. So keep that going in the comment section down below. In terms of pops, points of presence, yes. As long as they keep expanding into the Dakotas and to the Montanas, yes, they will be able to say that they're on par with Verizon in points of presence. But in terms of square miles of LTE, no. There's, there's no debating that T-Mobile will not be able to catch Verizon anytime soon, anyway, in square miles of LTE. So what I mean by that, if you're new to the channel, just for instance, my market, El Paso, T-Mobile has a presence here of LTE. Their network is here. But let's just say, for instance, Interstate 10 from here to Odessa, Texas, is only covered by Verizon. That's square miles of LTE. T-Mobile doesn't have a presence of LTE on that stretch from here to Odessa on I-10. But then in Odessa, T-Mobile has LTE. That's points of presence. So that's where Verizon is better. They have that whole Interstate 10 from here to Odessa covered with LTE. That's square miles. T-Mobile is only points of presence in the cities. So that's just an example. They do have, T-Mobile does have coverage along Interstate 10, but that's just an example for you guys. So if you're new to the channel. So as you can see here on the screen, this is a market that Verizon just completely dominates. This is Orlando. And as you can see here, all these red dots, that is Verizon towers, plus the green ones are small cells. So as you can see, density is crazy. This market is completely owned by Verizon. They're first overall in everything. There's no tie. Nobody's even close. And this is what Verizon wants to mimic all across the US and major cities. So this is, one thing where I'm saying T-Mobile is going to have a hard time catching him up, because this is where Verizon shines when they're spending their capex. They're 15, and now even I think they're even going to hit 16 or 17 billion next year. With an increase in capex. This is where Verizon shines. They have. There has been speculations. None of this is confirmed, that Verizon has been planning this densification for about 3 years now. A lot of carriers like T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T are just now starting to plan for their densification, where Verizon has been doing this already for the past 3 years, as far as permits and zoning for cities on new towers, small cells. They have been doing this for many years already, very quietly. Verizon doesn't hardly announce anything until it's actually done. As to T-Mobile, as you've seen in the past, right away, boom, 4x4 MIMO live. Extended range LTE. They announce it right away. Verizon is very quiet, very humble, and they just show action instead of talking. And as you can see here, Orlando is that is crazy dense. There's, look at that. There's a tower everywhere. So this is very. I think this would be very scary for other carriers to compete with, when you know that Verizon has money to spend, that they're spending on capex, and at any time they would like, they can increase this, because they have the money. And so does AT&T, but they still want to waste it on media and in Mexico. So definitely time for AT&T to step it up in the US market. So just wanted to show you guys that. And this is where Verizon wins. This is a market that only has band 4 and band 13. That's like, 30 megahertz of download. Not a lot. Verizon is doing, T-Mobile's doing 3 carrier aggregation, and they're not even close to Verizon speeds in these markets because of the density. And as Verizon has announced, next year, also on top of density, we have a heavy band 2, band 5 deployment coming. That's starting next year. So I'm sure most markets will have this live. Then that will enable 3 carrier aggregation next year. Right now, they're only at 2, and I think a few markets have 3. Also, Verizon is kicking butt, and they haven't even implemented 4x4 MIMO or 256 QAM, so that's coming next year too. And then, cell splits. They haven't implemented cell splits either. So now people are like, well, is T-Mobile going to be able to keep up with Verizon? Well, T-Mobile's already using all the technology that's available to them, and they're still struggling in certain markets. So, is Verizon taking the proper approach? I think so. I think Verizon is doing it very, like I said, very humble, very calm, and they have a very good strategy to where T-Mobile, they're aggressively rolling out everything that they have. This is why I said that I believe in my other video when I spoke about density, you have more control of the network when you're densifying. It definitely handles speed better. You don't have what they call speed islands. So T-Mobile people are saying, okay, this tower here is giving me 80 megabits, but then I go half a mile down the street and I only get 2 megabits. So that is what they call speed LTE islands. Verizon doesn't have that issue. They're so dense that, their speeds on average are 20 plus in most markets. 20 megabits plus on average consistently across the whole city. So that is really good info that I was able to pick up over these past few days. And this is not bashing T-Mobile. They're doing a good job, but they just have too much going on right now to where they can focus a budget on just purely one thing. As somebody mentioned, they're rolling out Montana, Dakotas. That's new coverage, new service. So that means, stores, new employees. That's additional funding. Then, they're rolling out small cells. They're part of the 600 megahertz auction. Band 12 deployment has started in Chicago. There has been a sighting already of Band 12 there. 600, that money's already set aside, but once that is cleared, that'll be another funding that they have to make money for to roll that out. So that's just a lot of stuff all at once. So this has to be a project that's going to get carried out over 3 to 5 years. It's more of a process. Verizon, they're doing it the right way, and they have enough money to. They're not struggling in any markets right now that I know of. I'm sure there's a few areas in some markets where they do have congestion, but knowing Verizon's track record, those markets will be fixed. They haven't even implemented Band 12 or Band 5 in most of their network. That's coming, and on top of that, they're already densifying their coverage. So where on along these highways and interstates, wherever T-Mobile is trying to cover more of an area with band 12, which leads to a fair LTE signal. Verizon is popping up more and more towers to even densify those areas. So that's another area that T-Mobile will be behind. So it's almost like a race. T-Mobile is catching up, and then Verizon's like, we're gonna pull ahead again. But with this time, if they're planning to mimic what you see on the screen across the U.S. and they're doing densification, on their network on highways and interstates, oh man, Verizon's gonna be unstoppable. And even at the fast pace that T-Mobile is going, they don't have enough funding in the pot to really go full steam to where they can handle multiple projects at the same time. They're doing it now, but to a certain extent. Like the Band 12 rollout in Chicago, that's probably priority right now. So you'll probably see, most of that lit up in the first half of 2017. So definitely just wanted to drop this video for you guys. I haven't dropped a video in a few days, so this video might be a little longer. But, definitely the interaction is appreciated in the comment section down below. Let me know how you feel. There's a big announcement coming at CES on the 5th of January, as you guys may know. And I think Neville Ray will announce that they're on par with Verizon on in terms of pops. They will announce that Neville Ray and John are, they're arrogant. So they're gonna announce that. I'm quite positive that will get announced. But if you're really into the cell phone service, and you guys should know that Verizon is the top dog. And with them spending close to between 15 and 17 billion a year, that's between 10 to 12 billion more than Sprint and T-Mobile are spending, and close to 7 billion more than what AT&T is spending. So that right there is already like, okay, now Verizon can handle multiple projects at a fast pace because they have money. So just wanted to get your guys' input on that as well. We're not bashing T-Mobile, but we can't have people saying, that T-Mobile is on par with Verizon when we all know that's not true. So maybe over time, T-Mobile can, compete with Verizon, but Verizon will always be ahead in every aspect. And they're not even feeling threatened. I mean, how do you feel threatened? T-Mobile's market cap is at like 48 billion. Verizon's at like 250 billion. That's like a 210 billion difference. There's no way that Verizon feels threatened by T-Mobile. They know what they're worth, and they know that their network is really, really good. And us as a consumer, we either take it or leave it. You got to remember, you pay for what you get. You want the best, you're going to pay for it. Same goes for Sprint. And then, there's another topic that I'll touch on in another video. People are saying that T-Mobile is now on par with AT&T, like as far as square miles of LTE. And that in terms of LTE coverage, T-Mobile is second. So as I mentioned before, AT&T has been busy in Mexico expanding there, and then with their media, DirecTV, all that stuff. So, in terms of LTE coverage, what they mean is not necessarily that T-Mobile covers more, but T-Mobile has been able to convert more towers over to LTE, to where AT&T still has a lot of HSPA plus out there. So that's where T-Mobile is starting to pass AT&T, is in converting towers to LTE. So in aspect of the coverage, throughout T-Mobile's coverage, you're going to be on LTE a higher percentage of the time than on AT&T. So I will discuss that in another video. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. I have more videos coming out, possibly today, two or three more, or over the next few days. So definitely stay tuned. This is going to get very interesting. It's starting to really heat up in 2017. Networks are going to get, the best that they've ever been on T-Mobile, even Sprint. AT&T is going to get better, and Verizon is just going to, blow through the roof once again. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.